The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Last Call, where we tackle the nagging questions like, what's the difference between a tropical depression, a tropical storm, a hurricane, and a post-tropical cyclone? And we will find that out tonight from returning guest and friend of the channel, Emmy Award-winning meteorologist Katie Nickolaou. And as for those tropical depressions, you know they won't hang around here because meteorologist Katie always brings the sunshine. And of course, Last Call is bringing the alcohol, because when the alcohol comes in, the depression has to go somewhere else. So top off your glasses, get comfortable, and tell me what you're sipping on in the chat. The Knarble Wagon rolls right after we take care of some business and a song or two. Tonight's drink was bought for me by Connie Cleary, and she specified a bourbon blackberry Collins. So in a cocktail shaker, I muddled some blackberries, ice, 1.5 ounces of bourbon, 3/4 of an ounce each of lemon juice and simple syrup, and I shook well. Strained into a chilled, iced Collins glass and stirred with 2 ounces of club soda. And the bourbon Connie bought me was recommended by the nice lady at Binny's named Mariah. It's a blackberry bourbon from Starlight Distillery in Borden, Indiana. Connie also requested I sing some Klingon opera. I don't know much opera, but there is a popular Klingon anthem I'm going to take a stab at. Thank you, Connie, for the drink, and I hope you like the song. If you want to buy me a drink and request a song, the link is in the description and pinned to the top of the chat. Quattro is capla. Well, here we go. And I think this is going to be the first time that I'm doing a song a cappella. So here we go. Hoi keles puglod, hoi pukbepu, yachbo maxbo yesui, shai maxu meu, mashu manong, ej ma oktu, minebeev maj achwof, ku, bak mahesh bet ejok kistak, vav pumadi mafmar, re ma shuv taku, ma me ko ma shuv ta, ma ov. There you go. That is the Klingon anthem. You know what? I am going to give you the translation as well. Hear, sons of Kalis, hear, daughters. The warrior who is brave and loyal is perfectly cleaned by the blood of battle. We fight, we're passionate, and we kill perfectly. Our lives are not long, but they are very bright. We certainly die honorably. We join our fathers in the Black Fleet. There, we always truly continue fighting. We won't stop. We continue fighting. We compete. Kabla. Let me bring in my favorite little Klingon, my Parmachai Kitu. How are you today, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
I am thankful that this week is over. Y'all have heard me mention that we had a riff happen at my company. This was really tough. We had the holiday, so our sales department decided to double down on throwing stuff my way. I just finished Tuesday's orders today. Yeah. That's horrible. Usually I have things done within a 2-day SLA. Yeah, it took me till today to get that done. So, yeah, I'm not happy. As far as
you want to sip on my bourbon? You've earned it.
I did.
Yeah, you're not.
It's like you have the initial fruit, and then it's just alcohol, and I don't like that.
And I got a lot of berry in here, so yeah, it's pretty yummy.
As far as what I'm sipping on, I got a Diet Dr. Pepper.
There we go.
I earned one.
Yeah, that's high octane for you. That's fair. Yeah, this is actually, in my opinion, very, very yummy. Thank you very much, Connie. let's get my designated driver in here. I may very well need you by the end of the stream because I'm telling you, How are you doing, my friend? And what are you sipping?
I just got a water tonight.
Because you're the designated driver.
Because I'm the designated driver.
Right. I got you.
Well, plus I have a library thing in the morning, but I'm going to be. Yeah. I should have gotten myself one of my Minute Maid fruit punches, though. The good fruit punch where it has all the fruits on the front of it, and they all have to be in there because it tells you on the front of the can.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get one of those at some point.
Yeah, you can do that if you want. I got to say hi to the chat anyway.
Yeah, why don't I go? I'll go grab one. Hold on a second.
Go grab one. Yeah. While you do, I'll say hi to everybody. Let's go to the chat. First person I saw was David Pensack, member of the staff here. Thanks so much for being here, David Pensack. He says, batten down the hatches and prepare yourselves. It's time for Last Call with Troy Pacelli. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just doing my part to support that guy at the end of the bar. Thank you, my friend. Hey, and anything you could do to get the stream out, double check, make sure you're subscribed. I lost some this week, and I'm really trying to hit that little milestone before October. Big L Presents. Have a great stream, my friends. Great to see Katie Nickolaou here. Well, she's not here yet. I'm hoping that a storm has not kept her away. Enjoy the Twister rewatch we all had. Yes, it was awesome. You can find the Twister rewatch. Bring your own stream or copy of Twister and watch along with us. That was a lot of fun. JPRPH1, good to see you. Hi there, folks. Saying hi to everybody that he sees here. And of course, Connie, who bought me my drink. Thank you so much for being here, Connie. And thank you so much for the drink. Thank you for the suggestion specifically of this Blackberry Collins. It's actually quite yummy. I have not yet tried the bourbon straight. I'm going to have to do that. That's going to be a nice little kick.
And
too.
Hopefully you like the Klingon song he sang for you.
Mm-hmm. If she commented, I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm behind on the stream because I'm saying hi to people like this beautiful Klingon here. Last Call with Troy Pacelli. Hello, love of my life. I love you too, Netter. Welcome.
Well, it's like if I'm going to be your Klingon, give me a sec.
Yep, you could change your icon. And speaking of Klingons, Admiral Kapla. Good evening, everyone. I'm sipping on a blueberry bubbly water. There's my Klingon girl. Yeah, there. Jesse Guajardo. Hello there, everyone. Good to see you, my friend. I like the that kaiju icon of yours. Deleted scenes. Let's see. Tim Hayes. Welcome. Keely Chow. Always a pleasure to have you here. Looks like Tim Hayes is having some wild cherry Pepsi. Now, let me tell you something. I talk a lot about Coke and Pepsi, Coke versus Pepsi, blah, 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 blah. Usually I prefer Coke, but when it comes to the wild cherry, Pepsi's is better.
I have to say, I've had the wild cherry Pepsi, and it's not bad. Yeah. I like those commercials. Remember those commercials with Kiss?
Oh, gosh, that's a while back.
Wait a minute. That was Dr. Pepper, my mistake.
But okay.
It was with a kiss of cherry. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah. I bet all those storms listed have at their heart the hot air blown by Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah. Or maybe it's a dust up from the storm against Florida. I don't know. Something like that. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Drinking cheap beer. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, unless it's like Bud Light or something like that. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'm going to have to get a laugh track in here or something. Stands at attention. Yeah, you like that, huh? Good. I'll bet you were singing along on your end. I bet you could have hit those notes better if you were wearing tighter underwear. Yeah, exactly. No, that's absolutely true. JPRPH1, Keely Chow, good to see you. Oh, Matanui. Good to see you, my friend. Forgot it was Friday for a moment. Well, you may not be the only one. We're missing a guest tonight. I hope everything's okay with her. Sir Torrent Clegane, another member of the staff. Good to see you, my friend. Good evening, everyone. I just want to make sure I have not missed anyone, and hopefully I have not missed anyone mentioning what they're sipping on. Has anyone tried Dr. Pepper Vanilla Cherry Cream Soda? I have. It was a bit much. Yeah, it did. And if I'm going to have, it gets to the point where if you're going to have these flavored sodas, find your favorite cola and then mix it up yourself. That's my personal thing. Honestly, I feel the same way about mixed drinks. I will not buy those pre-mixed,
I actually
canned.
lost my voice from that one.
Yeah, I was getting to that because when we got that, Netter tried it, and the particular vanilla they use in those drinks just dries out her throat, and she's got a very, very sensitive voice box as it is. The slightest sniffles and she loses her voice.
Have you used those weird Coke fountains where you can select any flavor you want? Have you ever done that?
At movie theaters.
At movie theaters, yeah. I've tried orange and orange Fanta and Coke. I've mixed those two together, which is
How
interesting.
Is that?
I kind of liked it, but it may not be for everybody. Also, you can do flavored sprites. I do a peach Sprite. That's pretty good. Yeah, but yeah.
Hey guys, just relaxing in my hotel, having caught up on Z's a little, watching Red or Red 2. Well, there you go. I hope you're having fun. Yeah, check out Lester San Jose's channel. He just recently did some unboxing videos, which I found particularly interesting because he gave me a shout out, and I super appreciate that.
Red 2 has Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, okay, good.
So you can tell the difference.
Yep, I think we're all caught up. So I wasn't going to do this originally because I thought we were going to have a guest, and she was going to have a very tight schedule because weather waits for no one. But it may very well be. Oh, real quick, let me say hi to Storyman Jack. Make sure you are subscribed to Storyman Jack. He has regular content on his channel. He is someone to emulate if you are a YouTuber. So don't worry about it. You missed me singing in Klingon, but the fact is it's going to be out there. You could always go back and check it out.
And I dropped a new vid, so those of you who haven't seen it yet, go to my channel, check it out.
Yep. But what I was thinking I might do is I actually had another song prepared, and let me if I'm thinking about doing it because we do have the time now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's probably best that I kind of front load a little if I'm going to do that. Do you mind, Boomer? I think it would be a good I think it goes well with the topic, and
okay.
I think the folks that have gotten here late, they deserve to suffer like everybody else in here. so I'm going to take you guys out. I'm going to switch the sound over and pull it up. So hold on just a second. Let me go speakers because we're going to need sound. And okay. And now I'm kind of hoping that Meteorologist Katie catches the stream if she doesn't make it on tonight, because I'm going to mention her in this song. And here we go. I hope my volume's on. There we go. It seems like yesterday, but it was long ago. Katie was an Emmy-winning meteorologist, there with the barometric pressure getting low, and the secrets that we shared, mountains that we moved, caught like a wildfire out of control, till there was nothing left to burn and nothing left to prove. And I remember what she said to me, how she swore that it never would end. I remember how she held me oh so tight. Wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. Against the wind, we were running against the wind. We were young and strong, we were running against the wind. The years rolled slowly past. I found myself alone, surrounded by strangers I thought were my friends. Found myself further and further from my home, and I guess I lost my way. There were oh so many roads. I was living to run and running to live, never worrying about pain or even how much I owe. Moving 8 miles a minute for months at a time, breaking all the rules that we bend. I began to find myself searching for shelter again and again, against the wind. Little something against the wind. I found myself seeking shelter against the wind. Oh, it sneaks up on you. Woo! Well, those drifters' days are past me now. I've got so much more to think about. Deadlines and commitments. What to leave in, what to leave out. Against the wind. I'm still running against the wind. I'm older now and still running against the wind. Well, I'm older now and still running against the wind. Against the wind. I'm still running. I'm still running against the wind. Still running. I'm still running against the wind. Still running. Running against the wind. See the young man running. Watch a young man run. Watch the young man running. He'll be running against the wind. Let the cowboys ride. Let the cowboys ride. Thing I like about backing tracks, they know how to end a song. I don't know about you, but I never did care for the whole concept of the fade out. Very few songs is the fade out the way to go. Hold on just a second, folks. Let me switch my speakers over so that we don't echo and alert everybody what amateur hour this is.
Sometimes you do have a fade out that still ends the song, though, where if you listen carefully, you can see it end.
Yeah,
you know. And
the best way to do a fade out is if you have a soundboard and you can literally back off the sound or whatever. Zombie Box Reviews came in just at the right time when the song ends. That's probably the best place to be. And where was it? I saw somebody. Let me back up because there's some chat going on here that looks interesting to me. In the eye of a hurricane, there is quiet for just a moment, the yellow sky. When I was 17, a hurricane destroyed my town. I couldn't drown. I couldn't seem to die. I wrote my out, wrote everything down far as I could see. I wrote my way out. I looked up, and the town had its eye on me. They passed the plate, and total strangers, moved to kindness by my story, raised enough for me to book passage on a ship that was New York bound. Oh, little did you know. Good.
I like it.
I wrote my way out of hell. I wrote my way to revolution. I was louder than the crack in the bell. I wrote Eliza love letter until she fell. I wrote about the Constitution and defended it. Wow, this is starting to sound kind of political. I'm here for it. I'm okay with that. JBRPH1, my cover group, does this song. Always a favorite. Yeah. It's the kind of song that's I like to get gravelly and growly when I've, I'm already I'm halfway through the drink and I'm already at the fuzzy stage, which is kind of nice. So let's go ahead and get right into the topic. Boomer, you are going to be our subject matter expert unless Meteorologist Katie shows up. No, I'm not asking you to.
Well, what would you like to know?
I was just going to say, I'm not going to ask you for detailed knowledge of the weather, but so it is not quite 1 year since a little old twister blower kind of brought some water up into your neighborhood last year and put you out of your house for like half the year.
Well, the thing is, we had to stay in the house even when it was in disarray for a lot of that time. But luckily, through the generosity, I'll say this, I did get a couple of Airbnbs, which was nice. And because they were helping out people affected by the hurricane, at least, I did stay in those for a little bit, mainly for my mom. But yeah, we had to stay in the house for the majority of the time. Then the workers came to do the mold removal. My mom had to stay we stayed with a friend of hers for a little bit, for like a month, and then we had to come back. And they were still working on the house while we were here. The house is finally sort of, basically, kind of getting back to normal. At least the inside. We still have work to do on the outside, but
yeah, and that was the big concern as this. What is this? This Idalia is coming in, and it's like, oh crap, you're not even quite finished from the last.
That's what I was thinking.
But
I heard the news. I heard the news that Monday morning. It's like, we as county employees, we're all getting called to, for shelter duty that we have to do. And I was like, the look on my face, I was not in a good mood. And I'm like,
I can imagine,
because I'm like, not again. And, but I did what I had to do. We stormed up, put the storm shutters in the house, got the house ready. Then I had to go off and do the shelter thing. Luckily, well, I don't want to say luckily, because it was lucky for us, not lucky for people in other parts of the country, unfortunately, with this latest hurricane. But, believe it or not, though, even in our part of the thing, not here, but in a neighboring town, there was some flooding due to this thing.
You were saying, and Sir Torrance said that twister blew in the weekend my younger sister got married. Maybe it was an omen. Maybe your younger sister should have reconsidered. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. You never know.
Something. Maybe love conquers all. Okay, how's that sound?
That's a nice thought. I'm not sure that applies in this world anymore.
Anyway.
I kind of feel like if you weren't married before about 10, 15 years ago, good luck to you. That's where
you're thinking is. We're just living in an anti-romance age, aren't you?
We're living in an anti-everything age. Hell, we're anti-gender, anti-every franchise we ever loved, anti-history, anti-science. And the ones saying follow the science are the most anti-science people out there. Just saying.
Well, anyway, this is our main hurricane season. We are still in it. We still may get other hurricanes.
And it goes through what, like middle of November?
Yeah, usually by November it's done, but I don't even want to say that because we get a surprise. Yeah, so but yeah,
Well,
usually
the
it runs.
killer is if you guys get a storm like that in mid to even late November, we're gonna get effed with a whole bunch of snow. Because my experience has been that precipitation that it pushes north,
Yeah.
as it gets colder and colder, well, we end up with all kinds of snow. And I saw an interesting YouTube video. Didn't understand all the details about it, but it went into the big storm, the big blizzard of, I want to say 79. Was it 79? And it talked about this El Nino type thing that happened in the Pacific Northwest and how it pushed, a low front down into like Southern California or whatever, and brought a bunch of moisture up. And then the Midwest just got dumped with snow, and a cold front coming down from Canada. And I remember the 79 storm, but then apparently there was other ramifications that hit New York, and New York was just covered in snow too. And I don't know too much about what happened in New York in 79.
So Torrin Clegane has a thing. He says it's a song from Hamilton. He survived a hurricane in his youth. Really? I thought hurricanes are a modern phenomenon. I didn't know they were happening.
Yeah, I thought that didn't start until global warming, global boiling started. We never had hurricanes before then. Yeah.
At any rate, what was I going to say though? No, though. Obviously, though, it was a very hot Gulf this summer, though. I will say that, and they said the waters were very hot, so we worried about storm surge. And like I said, we're still not out of this season yet, so keep your fingers crossed. I mean,
no, absolutely.
I keep saying, well, lightning doesn't strike twice until it does, so let's not.
Well, it's funny. I've heard that saying that that lightning doesn't strike twice. That's not really true. It depends on.
I know it is. That's my point. It's like
if you have a lightning storm and the tallest tree, for example, gets hit by lightning, unless that tree falls, it's gonna get hit by lightning again, because electricity chooses the path of least resistance, and that tallest tree is the path of least resistance.
I was watching an episode of that show, The Unexplained, with host William Shatner, and there's this woman
of William Shatner.
Yes. Anyway, he talks about the mysterious and the unexplained on this show. I swear it's like him trying to, I don't want to say he's getting back at Leonard Nimoy for doing In Search Of. This is like the new In Search Of. And he's on here, and this one woman who I guess is, she was like former military, I guess maybe she was in the armed forces, and she got struck by lightning, and she was afraid of lightning after that. She was talking to her therapist, and he says, soldier up. Next time there's a storm, go outside, okay? So she decided to do that. There's a storm, and she said, you know what? I'm not going to be afraid of this thing anymore. So she opens up her back door. I kid you not, lightning came out of the sky into the house through the open door and hit her again.
Yeah.
It's
little trivia question. We got the Hamilton thing going on. We're talking, weather and whatnot in history. The whole story about Benjamin Franklin and the kite, right?
Yes. Yes, he was doing the weather testing, right?
Yes, he was. And what did he discover?
What did he discover?
No, I'm asking you first, because a lot of people get this very wrong.
That it hurt to fly a kite in a storm?
Okay, well, technically Netter's right, but that's not what he was trying to discover.
What was he trying to discover?
His hypothesis, which he pretty much proved, was that that lightning is lightning is electricity, right? And that lightning is created by a difference of charge between the moving particles of precipitation up there and the wind and everything and the ground. Now, I forget which is negative and which is positive, but it's basically a big static electric charge. And his test for this was if I fly a kite during a storm with a key hanging from it, I should be able to touch the key and get zapped, just like if I were to shuffle my feet along a wool carpet and then get shocked on a doorknob because of static electricity, right?
Right.
And he was absolutely right. He demonstrated that, and it was true. There are so many people, you ask that question, they're like, he discovered lightning, or he invented electricity, or something like that. And it's like, what? Are you serious? They kind of, there's pretty good evidence that the ancient Egyptians kind of knew what electricity was. Just saying, that's thousands of years before Ben Franklin. Just saying. So electricity already existed. It wasn't invented by anybody. It's a natural phenomenon. It was discovered and harnessed long before Ben Franklin. He was just studying the nature of lightning. And it wasn't even lightning. It wasn't like he wanted the kite to get struck by lightning, right? He just wanted it to be in the storm with the wind passing by it, and generate a static charge so that when he went like this to the key, boom, he got a little shock, and he's like, that proves it.
Did you know
if he wrote a paper about that, though, I've never read it. I'll have to look into that.
On Batman, the Brave and the Bold, they had Kite Man as the villain in an episode, and they explained his tragic origin. We wanted to redo the Ben Franklin experiment with the kite, but he didn't take proper precautions. And you see him with like a big retainer and braces as a kid, and he's standing in like a shallow pool, like those kiddie pools, and he's standing in those while he's trying to do the. So of course he gets hit by lightning, and that's what made him a supervillain, made him nuts. It was a really horrible origin story.
But luckily he's a stupid supervillain, so he's easily caught.
He has a stupid origin story too. It
sure does. I invented electricity. Benjamin Franklin's the devil. I'd love to do a stream about Benjamin Franklin someday. He's
a smart guy. He was in that John Adams miniseries. Have you seen that?
I have. I've got it I got it on DVD for Netter because she's a big John Adams fan.
He's my favorite president.
I got her the book that it was based on. I got her the who was it who played John Adams? It was
that Italian guy.
Yeah.
Paul
Giamatti. Yeah.
You never asked me who my favorite president is.
Who's your favorite president?
Dwight Eisenhower.
Cool.
Okay.
Nobody likes him.
Okay. I can kind of see that.
A lot of good stuff happened in this country under him. All the highways. He also helped us win World War II before he was president. I mean, he did a lot, right? I mean,
I am getting
the space. He did the preliminary stuff for the space program too. It was under Dwight Eisenhower.
You start getting me into politics here.
I'm not.
The presidents that I admire most have changed drastically in the past 5 years or so. Well, maybe not. There were presidents that I liked, that I like even more now. I liked Reagan. I liked Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
I have grown to like John Kennedy.
Right.
And the more I learn about the history of all of those guys, the more I like them. These are presidents, regardless of party, that stood against the statist machine and paid high prices for it. John Kennedy was assassinated. There was an assassination attempt against Ronald Reagan.
There was.
And there was a career assassination of Nixon.
Yeah, there was that.
I honestly believe that every single one of those was uniparty sponsored.
It's interesting. There's a cut scene of the Oliver Stone Nixon movie where he's talking to some guy who's obviously a deep state kind of guy, and he almost has like black eyes, like during the scene, like there's something demonic about him. It's this weird. It wasn't in the actual final movie, but like I don't know.
I am not yet where Keely Chow is. Eisenhower and Kennedy are the two best presidents we ever had. But I'm getting there, Keely. I am.
Yeah.
I am getting there. And for different reasons. John Kennedy was a free thinker who pushed against the Uniparty. Eisenhower was, let's face it, he was sharp on foreign affairs.
It's funny. I think the Democrats also wanted Eisenhower before he chose to run as a Republican. Did you know that? I think he was being courted by both parties. But yeah,
I'll be honest about Teddy Roosevelt. I like him better than FDR for damn sure. But there's some things I still kind of hold against Teddy Roosevelt. He had a couple policies I really didn't agree with. I think his third party idea was not politically sound for its day. Although maybe one of these days we'll do a stream about a third party, because
that's what gave us Wilson, right? Because he ran against Taft.
Yep.
That's what happened. Yep. I remember that. Yeah.
And for those that keep saying we have a two-party system and a third party is a wasted vote, I disagree. You need to look at the history of the parties in this country, looking at the Whigs, the Democratic Republicans, the Tories and so forth. We've had a lot of parties before we got to the two parties that you have grown up with in your lifetime. And I think that we are fast approaching a point where those two parties are both imploding. And I think we are going
in good shape, yeah.
Maybe not within my lifetime, but in the next couple generations, I expect both parties to implode. And we are going to end up with another two-party system, and it's going to be a populist party versus a socialist party. That's what's going to end up happening. That's my prediction. But I'll be fucking dead by that time, so I don't give a shit.
It's weird, isn't it? Like you wonder what the makeup is going to be in 100 years, right?
Teddy Roosevelt was an anime protagonist, and that's the reason I love him. His presidency and his political legacy is give and take, as far as I'm concerned. That's actually not a bad way of looking at it. When you look at it that way, Sir Torrin, I kind of get what you're saying.
I could see him in like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style anime. That's a bizarre anime where it starts out and it's just like a Lost Dickens novel. It's like like this guy gets an adopted brother who's planning to murder his dad, and like he's from a good family, and then the vampires show up, and this is like in Victorian England, and I'm just what is going on here? And it's
Jesse Guajardo. I'm starting to slur my words. I'm sorry. Jesse Guajardo says, have you seen the Lincoln movie yet? I have not. But thank you, sweetie. But I do want to. Part of me actually wants to see Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. No. Although if it comes to that, I'll read the book, because I've heard the book is much, much better.
So I've seen the movie. I'm trying to think. 13 Days was a good one about Kennedy, I think. Kevin Costner. That was about the Cuban Missile Crisis. That was
it was. I did a commentary on that on Pops on Pop Culture.
Right. Okay. Seeing if it was accurate or not, right?
Well, you know how I am with that. Look, my feeling is if you're going to do a franchise picture, you need to be faithful to the canon, or you're not doing that franchise. Same thing with a historical film. If you're not being true to the history, then get the hell out. What are you doing? Why don't you just make up some bullshit? You might as well do Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Pacific 4014. Hello all. It's funny that Pacific 4014 just happens in when we've veered off the main topic into a deep historical and political topic. He'll probably enjoy this, but my whole thing about historical films is, look, the people you are telling a story about either are still alive, have family that are still alive, or at least did exist in this world. And you have an obligation to be respectful of the truth. Because
you can't handle the truth.
Apparently some people can't. But, if you're going to tell someone's story, you have an obligation to be, and what's the example I always tell is the movie Titanic, right? Yes, the main story was completely fictional. I have no problem with that. But when you are telling the story of those people in the background who were real people, you have an obligation to them and their families. The first officer on the Titanic did not shoot into a crowd and then commit suicide. That is slanderous.
That was horse hockey.
Yes. And that man has family alive today that is hurt by that.
Well,
and I honestly think that in things like that, there should be slander suits and such. That's why I get so pissed about these the Cleopatra and all that bullshit. It has nothing to do with the politics and the racial shit and all that kind of stuff. I don't care why you're lying. You are lying. That is not history. Make up your own fictional, story about fictional people. That's fine. And cast it however you want.
On the other hand, Deepwater Horizon is actually fairly accurate to the events that happened with the BP oil spill.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. But
have you seen the one about the Boston bomber, Patriots Day?
I have not.
Okay.
No. And I actually don't know too much about that, the history of it. I tend to overanalyze the history before I go see a movie anyway. So.
Maybe it's too recent for you because those are recent events, yeah. But
Troy, is it any worse than Pearl Harbor movie by Michael Bay? Let me tell you about that Pearl Harbor movie.
Well, which one?
The Michael Bay one.
Okay, we're saying that one not because they did Midway later on, but okay, what did you think?
Midway only bothers me because they should have turned that into 3 movies.
Right.
There were 3 movies that could have come out of that. They squashed way too damn much into that movie. Pearl Harbor was a lot like Titanic in that you were telling the story of a bunch of fictional characters in the foreground while the real history was going on in the background. The one thing I did like about Pearl Harbor was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character, because that was a real person. That really happened, and I'm glad that story got told. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing I will say about Pearl Harbor. But honestly, just like Titanic, Pearl Harbor to me was like, meh, this is a missed opportunity. There are good stories if you pick certain real life characters and follow their real story. Just go ahead and tell those stories. You don't need to make up a bunch of bullshit, but I don't fault anyone for doing it. I mean, there's been a lot of great science fiction that's taken place, in the foreground of historic events. Doctor Who, on the Mary Celeste and stuff like that. The Voyagers on the Titanic, they did that too.
With me and Doctor Who, I always like the stuff that took place in the future and not stuff in the past more,
Yeah, as long as they kind of keep it consistent.
More of the straight science fiction rather than, we're in the past and meeting, Leonardo da Vinci or whatever they were doing. And I don't know if they ever did that in a Doctor Who. I'm just, rambling.
Jesse, for fuck's sake, there was so much left out of Midway that would have actually made it better. That's why I'm saying it should have been 3 different movies. They could have taken 3 different battles, and should have done a whole new Pearl Harbor. They should have done the Midway, and then they should have done the Pacific Island thing. It's just, I don't know, man. There was a lot of story to tell there. I would be very much in favor of a historic franchise. You pick, some events like this. You could tell the story of Pearl Harbor. You could tell the story of Midway. You could tell the story of where was it? My uncle served. Iwo Jima. You know, you could tell all those stories, and you do them in. You could actually film them contemporaneously and release one a year. You know, and you could share sets. You could share, CG assets and props and all that kind of stuff. And you could do it, on a really good budget. I think there's something to be said for doing historic films now in that kind of a way. But I think Hollywood needs to get their collective heads out of their collective asses, to be honest with you. They got to get through this strike first. What about when it's something we simply don't know and can't just cut it out of the script? Okay, that's fair. That's actually a very good point, Matanui, and I am fine with speculative history, right? A story that tells one when we don't know the details and we have a theory about what happened, and someone wants to tell their theory of, as long as it matches up with the history and it works, I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a lot of things. The farther back in history you go, in fact, the more speculative it gets. My biggest problem is that, unfortunately, people tend to see these films and accept them as fact. And there are so many things they see in these films that are absolute fiction. I mean, hell, we still have people that believe that, what's her name? The governor from Alaska.
Sarah Palin.
Sarah Palin. That she said something about being able to see Russia from her house. Dumbasses, that was a Saturday Night Live sketch. She never said that. It was a joke, you fucktards.
The media was not kind to her back in the day, I remember.
I have a commemorative hot sauce with a caricature of Sarah Palin on it, where she's got a very short skirt.
You want me to get it?
No, that's fine. And it says "Drill, baby, drill." Let's face it, she probably would have been the most attractive vice president
we ever had. Yes.
And I'll tell you, I remember her. I don't even remember the asshole that was running for president that year.
McCain.
Oh, fuck him. Fuck that asshole. Fuck that asshole. The only reason he did as well as he did was because of her. And he did not stand behind her, and the party didn't stand behind her, and that's why they fucking lost. Fuck those assholes. That's where I started to really question what the fuck's going on with the GOP,
Yeah, well, here we are though in the
Battle of the Coral Sea. Absolutely, Jesse. I'd love to see a movie about that. There was a film about Iwo Jima, wasn't there? About the five
Sands of Iwo Jima and the other one, Flags of Our Fathers. That was an Eastwood
Flags
movie.
of Our
I still
Fathers.
haven't watched Flags of Our Fathers yet. I saw the other one, the one from the Japanese.
Dude, I haven't seen it either, but I did the research on those guys. And so one company that Netter and I worked at, we did a big Memorial Day display, and I brought in this. I don't remember what company it was. It was an off-brand. They weren't G.I. Joes, but they were 12-inch action figure type company, and they did like G.I. Joe like military figures, and they did an Iwo Jima display, and I put that up, and I labeled each one of the figures with their names, birth and death date, and a quote. And everyone at the company said that was the most impactful part of the Memorial Day display. I'm forgetting their names, unfortunately, especially because I'm a little fuzzy. But one of them was a quote from a letter he sent to his mother, and it was, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact quote, but he was like, "War is terrible. You can't even imagine."
Yeah.
And he was killed shortly after the picture was taken. because the fighting continued at Iwo Jima after that flag was raised. In fact, the flag was raised twice. There's 2 different famous pictures of the raising of that flag. That was all Captain America type, rah-rah bullshit, staged, for the camera to do propaganda is what that was. One of the guys, the guy in the center holding the flag, was a Native American, and he suffered with severe survivor guilt
because of what
after the
happened.
war, and he literally drank himself to death.
That's awful.
It is not a happy story when you read about the guys that raised the flag at Iwo Jima. My great uncle Ralph, that was the youngest brother of my maternal grandmother. Kind of like McCain, actually, he had some messed up arms.
Yikes.
I did not know that he was a prisoner of war, and he served in all the other brothers and brothers-in-law of his generation served in Europe. He was in the Pacific, and he ended up a prisoner of war for a while, messed up arms. Exactly the same kind of story as McCain. But he had severe PTSD and self-medicated drinking problem. He'd be walking down the street and a car would backfire and he'd hit the ground. And he'd play it off like he was joking around. That's funny, right? He wasn't joking. And
that's terrible.
People that were closest to him knew that, yeah, he drank a lot and he was a mean drunk. But you had to feel sorry for him. He would not talk to anybody about what happened except my grandmother. That was his oldest surviving sister. And she wouldn't repeat the stories he told. She said what he went through and the things he saw, no one should ever have to experience, and certainly never have to live with, Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to get all.
Don't speak the truth.
And you know what? I'll tell you exactly what my thoughts are on the upcoming Napoleon film. I just hope it's good. I hope it's good. I really, really do. I have high hopes for that film. I really do.
It's Ridley Scott, right?
Yeah. So I'm kind of leaning towards it ought to be good.
Ridley Scott is hit and miss.
Yes, he is. That's the problem.
He did House of Gucci, which I don't know
anything about that.
It's Adam Driver and Lady Gaga doing Italian accents because they're Italians living in Italy, but speaking English.
Guessing they don't do it very well.
What?
And I'm guessing they don't do it very well.
Here's the problem. You have all these actors doing these Italian accents in Italy, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. See, I don't like this. I don't like when you set something in another country. Either have them speak Italian, or I don't know. It's just,
I think the biggest problem with a lot of these higher brow films is they have too low an opinion of their audience. Do the film. Make it great. Do whatever you have to do and expect your audience to rise to the occasion, and they will. That's my opinion. But
what was the last good Ridley Scott movie you saw?
The last time he made an original film that wasn't a sequel, actually. That's my problem with Ridley Scott's films is every time they sequelize them, they fuck them up.
He did that Robin Hood movie with Russell Crowe.
Was that the one? Oh, fuck that shit. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's one of the misses.
Kingdom of Heaven, which I've heard that the director's cut is much better.
It is.
Because it explains things better and like you get more detail.
That is a whole other thing I could go off on. When they have to when you have to edit something down, sometimes an epic needs to be more than 2 hours. It does. There are plot elements that need to be there. Otherwise, you don't understand what the fuck's going on. Did Ridley Scott do Gladiator?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's another one that's not historically accurate, but
Was that even a real emperor in that
Yes.
movie? Okay,
Yes, it
so that was okay.
Yeah, the one that Joaquin Phoenix played.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. But deleted scenes. Robin Hood was the biggest problem with Robin Hood is this whole idea of, let's speculate if he was real. No. As far as we know, Robin Hood was not real. He is a mythical character. Tell the mythical story.
They found the body, the guy, the legend where they shot the arrow from his deathbed, and they said, "Bury me there," and they dug up where they approximately.
The problem with that is it does not. We have no information about that body. That the legend that came up
was
about
an outlaw.
Well, that's fine, but if you're going to tell a real story, he could just be a fucking thief who did nothing good in his life and ended up dead. There's your story.
Well, you know,
is that the movie you want to tell?
Well, part of the problem with now you're going with the Time Bandits version of Robin Hood.
Oh yeah,
remember the John Cleese?
That's actually a very, very good movie, by the way.
Did you see? And all the merry men are these disgusting, brigand types and just horrible. Except for some reason, John Cleese is in the traditional Errol Flynn Robin Hood, while everybody else is
because
just
it's funny. Because it's funny.
And
and speaking of John Cleese, go check out Tom Conkle's IMDb page. The video that plays there has a clip of his comedy sketch that he did with John Cleese. It's hysterical. You got to check it out. I am convinced that at least half of it was improv between those two. It was brilliant. But and as long as we're completely fucking off topic and it's my show and I can do whatever the fuck I want, would one of the Blue Wrenches, be willing to go out there and get Tom Conkle's Indiegogo and go ahead and post that?
I got it.
Thanks, Netter.
I always have it up.
Well, you have it up because you're following literally where it is. We have a vested interest because we are well involved in the
just dropped it.
There we go. We have a vested interest in that film getting made. We really, really want to support it. But we bitch and moan about, the rehashes, reboots, and the bullshit that we're getting out of Hollywood.
Here's an original movie,
independent, for a low budget, but the more money they make, the better they can do.
Watch the trailer. It's fantastic.
Watch the trailer to get an idea of what it's about. Read the Indiegogo stretch goals and see what actors they're thinking about pulling in if they can get the money to do it.
You can get an IMDb credit just for doing one of the tiers.
How cool will that
be in the IMDb? Come on, where else?
I want to be able to tell my friends I'm a movie producer. Yeah. Netter and I are movie producers. We're on IMDb.
We are literally getting movie producer credit because of the tiers that we donated for.
Night to Remember actually is a very good Titanic film. Evelyn is absolutely right about that.
Better than the Cameron version?
It just even says the art for Alien and the Stars is beautiful. It is. It's fantastic.
Go
check it out after the stream.
And The Band Played On is another Titanic film that's better than Titanic. Samuel Proctor saying hi to you, Netter.
I know. I said hello back.
Oh, okay. Good. No one will ever tap Errol Flynn as top Errol Flynn as Robin Hood. I gotta say that I liked, although Mark Harmon did a terrible job of portraying Robin Hood, that film, the story was brilliant.
Mark Harmon?
Loved it. Was it Mark? No, Kevin Costner. Sorry.
Costner.
Yeah. Give me a break. I'm drunk, man. But
why didn't you like Costner, though, just out of curiosity? Because he didn't put on the English accent? Is that what bothered you?
That's a big one. I have a real problem with an actor who can't manage the appropriate.
But I would rather, if he can't manage it, for him not to do it. That's my
Then
argument.
He shouldn't have been cast.
Well,
and he
perhaps.
Doesn't have the talent to play the role. Also, he was too old for the role.
He was too old. So was what's his name? Russell Crowe. Come on, this is a
yes.
Robin Hood is a young man. It's
and keeping it on.
Russell Crowe's much better looking.
Well, okay. I'm not gonna argue with that. Not that I have a better insight to that than Netter does, but Russell Crowe can't sing. Not that has anything to do with Robin Hood. I'm just saying. And I'm sorry. I love Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, but she was age appropriate for Kevin Costner, but too old for the role of Marion as well. So, What
about Christian Slater as Will Scarlet?
I got to be honest with you. The best part of that, one of the best parts of that movie. Fuck me, he cleared it. That was brilliant. I love that.
I like the Friar Tuck in the Costner version just because he shows up and he's an absolute drunk.
He was
smashed out drunk.
Let me introduce you to, grain as it was meant to be consumed, given to us by God. Thank you, Lord, for beer. I forget his name, but he is a brilliant comedian in England. He is just, or was. Brilliant.
Doesn't he end up throwing the abbot out of a window saying, here are your 30 pieces of silver to pay the devil?
Pay the ferryman on your way to hell. Oh, shit. Dude, we got a fucking rewatch of Prince of Thieves. Let me tell you.
I don't know, though. I'm just, but I have some problems with that movie. I'll cut your heart
out with a spoon.
Oh, no.
Why a spoon, cousin? Because it would hurt more, you idiot.
Everyone
else did a perfectly reasonable British accent in that movie. Even Will Scarlet.
Okay, hold on. Six joined us. I said hello.
Six! I haven't seen you in so long. Thank you for being here.
I came here just for a hi, sweetie, from Netter.
Well,
that is so sweet.
This is why, well, this is one of many reasons why I love having her around after 30 some years. I don't know what the fuck she keeps me around for, but this is the way it is. Six, thank you so much for being here. It's so encouraging to me. Yes, I know you're here for Netter, but I still appreciate you being here. You are awesome people.
What happened to that Robin Hood expanded universe Sony was working on?
Don't know.
They kept saying,
don't know, and that was
Little
a
John
franchise that could have been built, right? Because there is plenty of story to be told on Robin Hood, and they started out pretty damn strong with the marketing of Robin Hood, with the reuse of the Superpowers action figures and the Star Wars action figures and play sets that made it into Prince of Thieves.
That's
toys.
Right.
The Ewok village was repurposed for the Merry Men, Sherwood Forest place
thing,
set.
yeah.
The Friar Tuck was a reuse of the Gamorrean Guard body from the neck down. Robin Hood himself was a reuse of the body of Green Arrow from the Superpowers collection, just repainted with Kevin Costner's head on it. I mean, it was friggin' brilliant.
I don't know.
And then, of course, Evelyn brings up Star Trek. Sir, I protest. I am not a merry man.
That was funny.
That was. That whole.
Who was Alan Adale? Was that Geordie? Was supposed to be Alan Adale in that? And I forgot what Data was supposed to be.
And Worf was Will Scarlet. Yeah, exactly. It was just a story you could only get out of Q, and he's literally a god just fucking around. I love it.
Later on, they do stuff like that with the holodeck. Remember, they would have
yes,
like on Deep Space Nine, they did their James Bond thing where the holodeck got out of control, so all the characters were stuck in the roles. Like Cisco was Dr. Hippocrates Noah, right? That was the super
and Julian Bashir was whatever the James Bond
stand-in, yeah. And it was just, it's just. I think O'Brien was the henchman.
But who was the singer at Quark's Bar?
The
actor from the Time Tunnel. Oh, Evelyn, help us out here. You know this. He played Vic Fontaine.
Was he the Sinatra stand-in, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The character's name was Vic Fontaine. He was basically supposed to be a rat packer, but he was the actor from. He was the young guy from the Time Tunnel. James Darren. Yes, he even put out an album in the Vic Fontaine style. Funny. And there was even a great episode of Deep Space Nine where he did this. It was a storyline where the holographic characters were trying to fight for the rights of artificial intelligence, emergent artificial intelligence, that they had a right to be treated as individuals rather than as property. Data, they'd already done the story with Data, and they redid it with Vic Fontaine, and they redid it again with the holographic doctor from Star Trek or from Voyager. All great stories, brilliant. And last stream we had together, Boomer, I wished there was one thing I wanted to touch base with you about, and we don't have time tonight because I know, you do want to get to, because I wanted to revisit our conversation about the Blade Runner sequel. I've been thinking more and more about it, and I have come to the conclusion that Blade Runner, it makes it very clear that you are meant to be of two minds about whether or not joy is sentient, and you have to resolve yourself to that.
You pick one of those minds to be in.
No, you can't. You cannot do that, because then you miss the whole point of the movie. You miss the whole point. Actually, you miss the whole point of both movies, to be honest with you. There is a reason that Vinny Villeneuve... Okay.
Okay, you go ahead. I didn't mean to...
There is a reason Vinny Villeneuve did not resolve the issue of whether or not Decker was a replicant. Okay. You are not supposed to resolve that issue. Okay. And then when you especially get into the details of the fact that Decker and Rachel had a child together.
Yes.
If a replicant and a human, or two replicants, can reproduce.
Yes.
They are an independent life form.
Yes. What does that have to do with joy?
If a replicant can be a separate life form, then why not a holographic one?
Okay. There is this dream that we're gonna be able to create these artificial humans. I mean, look, no.
Oh no, that's a dystopian nightmare.
Well, no, okay. The replicants are a different thing. Replicants, in my opinion, are living things.
Well, especially when they find Rachel's skeleton.
Yeah.
And literally it's a skeleton. And the only reason you can tell that it's a replicant is because there are numbers, microscopic numbers on the bones.
Blade Runner is bizarre. I know it deviates from the book in that I don't know exactly what a replicant is. It's not a machine. It's not a human clone. It's something else, like something they made artificially. But it's a living thing that was made artificially, which doesn't make any sense because it's like those two things are contrasting with each other. My whole thing, though, I feel sometimes that there are certain segment of men online, and I'm not going to throw stones or name names, but they dream of the day when we'll have robot women that can be these wonderful subservient girlfriends or wives, and they'll be fully intelligent. And I don't think that day is ever going to come. I don't think that's ever going to happen. At least not for hundreds of years, even if then. I don't think that you're going to have anything that sophisticated ever be able to be created.
That is the danger, of looking at real technology and trying to apply it to Blade Runner. Because let's face it, Blade Runner A is clearly an alternate history.
With interesting technology, though.
Exactly. And you have to pay attention. This is when you are dealing with a fiction that is completely separate from reality. The rules of that fiction are set by the storyteller. So you have to pay attention to what they're communicating. And the more I dig into, and help me out because I keep forgetting the name of the sequel to Blade Runner 20 something or other.
2049.
2049. Thank you. The more I dig into it, the more I realize there are details there that are not unintentional. So you have pointed out that after Joy is destroyed or killed, or however you look at it, he sees another holographic Joy, which is basically a giant billboard. And she refers to him as Joe. And that is your touchstone for why you say, nah, see, she's just programmed that way.
Okay.
But there is a big detail that is very, very important. And it's actually one that's really obvious. And I'm surprised I didn't catch it on my first two. It's the eyes. The eyes are incredibly important throughout. There is so much imagery and symbolism related to eyes. You got to pay attention to all of it. We focus on Rachel's eye, when she's doing the Voight Comp test and so forth, which, by the way,
beginning thing you see in both movies, I think, is an eye, right? I mean,
exactly right. Why is an eye important? The eye is, and the other thing too, in the sequel, the code is written underneath the eye. When you read the opening scroll, you start in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Your eye has to go up just like that. Mm-hmm. You are put in the position of a replicant, showing your number by reading that opening text. And what do the replicants do when they're trying to escape? They remove an eye. Right? Because that's where the code number is. Go back to the first movie. What does Roy Batty do to his creator? Crushes his eyes, right? How does he track him down? He goes to an eye maker, right? Yes. Eyes are very, very important. Why? It's very simple. Eyes are the window to the soul, right? And what is the difference between the giant holographic Joy that's the billboard and the Joy that died in the middle of saying I love you? The eyes. The big giant Joy has all black eyes. She has no soul.
Okay.
And in fact, I would even argue that the Joy that we see in the room before she gets the mobile hollow emitter, maybe not quite sentient either. She's still a pre-programmed.
When she's able to move around freely.
You see her evolve through the movie.
Possibly. I'll say the thing that threw me off about Joy, and this actually goes back to that last scene, or that scene when he's seeing the giant naked Joy with the blank eyes, when she says, "A real boy needs you need a name. You're a good Joe." And then I go back to the scene where he says, "You're a real boy. I knew it. And a real boy needs a real name. Let me call you Joe." And as soon as she says that, he's like, "No, I don't want to hear about that." And I read that reaction as that's him remembering the ad he saw when she says, "You're Joe."
Yes,
and
which makes
doesn't
him
like
question,
that because it's
makes him question, right?
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, maybe it means nothing. Maybe this was just her program."
Does.
But keep in mind, this is the same guy who. Is there any question he's a replicant?
No, because
okay, but he doubts it during the course of the movie. He starts to think maybe he's human.
Well,
and
no, he would be a human replicant hybrid or whatever, because he would have been born. That's the difference. That would make him different than other replicants. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't seen the movie. Of course, by now you probably should have.
You should have, absolutely.
But when I fell in love with that movie, I knew I loved the movie, was when his car crashed.
Out of context 6, I don't even know what to make of that. Oh my God.
I was talking about subservient robot women that look like the real thing, and he says, "I'll be subservient to the right price."
No. I get it. I get that, but
is 6 a lady? Just out of curiosity.
Yes, she's very much a lady, and I don't like thinking about her that way. things. I'm
All right.
sorry. I'm having very wrong thoughts.
Okay.
My fault. My fault, not yours. My fault, not yours.
Now I'm curious. Okay. Anyway, what was I going to say though? My favorite part in the movie though is when his car gets shot down and you see the holographic Joy trying to wake him up on the outside of the car, and I was like,
Yes.
okay, this movie just went to a different level for me. And I don't know why that scene, but
Is
do
that where
love
she's
that movie.
glitching out because
And she's glitching out? Yes, and she's lit, but she's trying to wake him up. And I was like, okay, this is something I haven't seen before. That's what I felt
the
at that moment.
brilliance of
Yeah.
these films, whether it's the first or the second one. And I give a lot of credit to Vinny Villeneuve. I'm really getting to like him. He is the future of entertainment. He really
I am
is.
terrified what Amazon's going to do with this new series.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But
I don't want to cross it.
I'm with you. But he this whole you really start to you have to question your own, not humanity exactly, but what prompts the things you do. Okay, for example, Netter has many times on stream pointed out that my nickname for her is Paradise, right? And it's very simple. You know, wheresoever we are together, that is paradise for me. That's why I call her Paradise. This is not some brilliant original idea I came up with. This echoes a storyline in a soap opera that I grew up with. Okay, by the same, and this is just one example of many things that I think everyone can relate to. Things that are very important to you that you make a part of your life. You can, if you're honest, look back to what their origin was and say, well, it wasn't completely original. I copied something, or I was inspired by something, or whatever, right?
Right.
And so when Joy calls him Joe, and you're like, oh, well, she was just programmed to call me Joe.
Yeah, I don't know who would say that.
but you sit there and you go, but wait a minute. She recognized that he needed a name. A name is important. It conveys individualism, right? You need a name. I think I'll call you Joe, because it's part of her programming and her memory. It was a name she drew from somewhere, right? Every name for every character you create, if you're a writer and you write a story, the names you draw are probably based on people you knew or people from history or whatever.
Sure.
You know, that's how it works. Whether you are a human being or an AI. That doesn't, remove your humanity, right? Your individuality, your and I'll tell you something. Watch all the seasons of Star Trek and watch Commander Data's character arc and his exploration of humanity. He does a lot of analysis and trying and getting advice from other characters. And it forces you to think through, what does it mean to be human? And that's really the whole point of Blade Runner. Now I wish I could change the thumbnail. Tonight's stream is about Blade Runner.
Well, you can change it later. I guess Katie couldn't make it. I'm sure she had good reasons, but yeah, but
she forgot about it. She's too important. She's an Emmy Award winner. I mean,
she has a great channel. She does these wonderful weather reports too on there sometimes. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. I didn't recognize her in the last video. She got like some curls or a perm or something. I'm like, is that Katie?
What?
It wasn't until I listened to her voice. I'm like, yep, that's Katie.
That's Katie. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think what else is going on though. But I don't know. Blade Runner.
Wait a minute. Here's a topic change. Also, going back to dating sim games, AI systems, they can learn from you and your habits. It's a little creepy. Yeah. Absolutely true.
Did you see the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix?
No. I've been interested, but I'm a little concerned about watching that.
You don't have to be concerned. It's an interesting film. That's another movie about an AI. Basically, this new OS he buys for his computer, whatever device he's using, it can shape its personality based on his interests located on his computer. So it kind of molds itself. It's Scarlett Johansson's voice.
Yes.
I don't want to say anything more about how the movie goes. For starters,
no, I kind of know. Because it has to do with like two characters that kind of fall in love with an AI, and then you find out that the AI is
what?
Like polyamorous.
I'm talking to 50 other people right now. But,
yeah, exactly. And I'm in love with all of them because that's how AI works.
No, it's here's what it is.
Sir Torrance says, I liked when new data, he's talking about B5, asked Picard, why do you have a shiny head? It was the highlight of Nemesis. I have a lot of problems with Nemesis, but let me tell you something.
The Remans.
The whole Picard clone fucked up bullshit. And yeah, even B5.
Actually, no, I'll say this. Tom Hardy, that was a good pick for a young Picard. It's just he wouldn't have been bald.
Exactly, because we've already seen a young Picard who got stabbed through the heart and he had a full head of fucking hair.
It's one thing if he was shaving his head to make himself look, because that's like a Romulan thing. That's not even a Romulan thing, though. That's something more a Klingon would do, I think, right? The Romulans... Oh, yeah. Never mind. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. And you had the Remans, which was this, I guess, slave race the Romulans had, which we had never heard of before.
I didn't have such a problem with, especially because the idea of the Remans being the Romulans telekinetic type, race, just like the Federation has Vulcans and whatnot. It's like, okay, I can kind of see that. In fact, what I was going to lead up to is all the problems that I had with Nemesis, the subsequent EU for Star Trek between novels and Star Trek Online kind of take the story of Nemesis and run with it and make it work. And when you look at Star Trek from the point of view of a game where you could play as a Romulan or a Klingon or as a Federation officer, if you're going to have a crew, you want all the different talents, right? So in the Federation, you have access to Vulcans and Bajorans and Deltans, right? Who have varying degrees of empathy and telekinesis and, mental abilities and so forth, right? Well, the Romulans have the Remans for that. Right? They've got the mental abilities and so forth. The Klingons are allied with the Kzinti, but they don't call them Kzinti. They call them something else because they don't want to run afoul of trademarks, Larry Niven and all that stuff. But they're like the evil version of the Caitians that the Federation have, right? Okay. And we saw them in the animated series, and they had these telekinetic powers. Well, they do in the role play in the Star Trek Online, and so everybody has telekinesis in their, or at least has access to a race in their sphere that they can have in their crew that has that ability for completing different missions and stuff like that. But
that's interesting.
Anyway. Oh yeah. And let me tell you something. The storyline of Data in Picard season 3 very closely mirrors what was in the books and what is in Star Trek Online. They take what happened with B5 and Data in Nemesis, which was stupid as all fuck, and turned it into a brilliant story, including this concept for Soong type androids and all the other androids we've seen since the original series, artificial intelligence, all this kind of stuff. Really good story there. Definitely worth looking into. Better than any of the bullshit we've gotten out of Kurtzman Trek, let me tell you.
Kurtzman.
It's bullshit, man. I gotta tell you.
So yeah, you were saying Doomcock said there was some stuff going behind the scenes with that, huh?
I was talking about that, yeah. So,
For the
and I don't know if I buy any of this. Even he was like, I'm not sure I really buy it, but it's what I heard, so I'm going to share it with you. And he was sharing it specifically because this is a Star Trek anniversary, and so he wanted to, have some Star Trek news to talk about. He goes, so I'm sharing this thing. I don't know if there's anything to it. Take it with a heaping, helping of salt, but this is what I heard. And apparently, behind the scenes, all the people that actually want Star Trek to do well and people that actually want to make money over there at Paramount CBS want Kurtzman and Bad Robot and whatever. They want him the fuck out of there. They want him gone. And they want it all to stop. No more Star Trek Discovery. No Section 13. No more of this Strange New Worlds bullshit. Get rid of it all. And there's talk about them doing a new after Nemesis next gen era type story. New characters. But continuing in that and making it very clear. All of that is alternate universe. We're going back to the original Star Trek, timeline.
I don't even know what universe they're dealing with. I've heard now they're like 3 Star Trek universes. Yep. There's all this nonsense.
Which is what all of the Star Trek fans have been saying all along. It's the only way it works. So go ahead.
Wasn't there that episode of Star Trek where all the different enterprises started coming in from all the different dimensions of TNG? Remember that episode? It
was an episode called Parallels. It was brilliant.
Yes.
It dealt with the whole idea of infinite, parallel universes and Worf kind of fluctuating between all of them. That's cool. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but we need to focus on one. And no, wait a minute. Here it is. No deleted scenes. He's not saying that Kurtzman has been fired. He's saying that a lot of people with the grown-ups in the room over at Paramount CBS do want him gone. But no, he's not. There are contractual agreements and stuff. He's there, but they want to fight against him doing any more Trek because it's losing them money. They are literally, and I've been saying this for a long time, CBS and Paramount are going to licensees, and the licensees are not interested in Star Trek Discovery, Strange New Worlds, any of that bullshit. The JJ movies, they don't want to make action figures, posters, books, none of that shit. They don't care because it doesn't sell. Nobody likes that stuff. And this is exactly why, guys, I'm telling you, you vote with your dollars. I'm getting sick and fucking tired of cantina proprietors that are snorting pixie dust and telling you got to see Ahsoka, otherwise we're not going to have any more Star Wars. Good. Let it die. It is better dead. It is like Ripley in Alien 3. Please kill me. That's where we've gotten with many of these franchises. Remember the stories that are true canon and forget all the rest of this bullshit. And when I say withhold your money from them, spend it on something worthwhile. Netter, drop that link again. Put some money into Tom Conkle's crowdfund for Island in the Stars. Remember how Star Wars started. It was an independent film made by an unknown director and writer named George Lucas. Yeah, I forgot his name. George Lucas, right? And luckily, Fox took a chance on him after a bunch of other studios passed on him. But it started out as an independent project. Well, I believe that's what Tom Conkle is as he's making Island in the Stars. And you have an opportunity to put your money where your mouth is. We do a lot of bitching about what they're doing to our favorite franchises. We have the opportunity to take the money we would spend on that and put it into the next great thing that could be awesome.
Yep.
And that sends a loud message to the Hollywood elites. Fuck you. We're going to make our own shit. Just like Comicsgate, just like Gamergate, all the other gates. Not Bill Gates. Fuck him.
Okay. All right. Well.
Thank you, Netter.
Do you remember Windows 95 when that was announced? How big a deal that was? Remember back in the day.
Too.
You don't like Windows 95?
No.
You
That's
thought
where
that was the beginning of the end.
That was that they were going for the Apple model with that, and it sucked. And the other problem is these operating systems have become such memory hogs. You know, I prefer going back to DOS, or Linux, but maybe that's just me. You know what, Surreality? The actress who plays Deanna Troy has pissed me off so much I can't even enjoy Deanna Troy anymore. It bothers me that we have the same name, spelled differently, but still, But yeah. Yeah, Jesse's not wrong here. There's nothing wrong with doing a film, having a beginning, middle, and end, and you're done. It's not a franchise. It's not an ongoing series. It's a movie. It's a story. It's done. Okay, be happy. Now I'm going to go on and tell another story. There's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, that's one of the things Tom has said about Island in the Stars. He's doing the same thing that George did with Star Wars. He made Star Wars the first movie to stand alone. He had hoped that he could do a trilogy, but he just wanted one movie to stand on its own. And that's exactly what Tom's doing too. He's doing one movie to stand on its own. And if it does really, really well, maybe there'll be sequels and role-playing games and video games and toys and all that kind of stuff. But let's just get the movie made and make it great first. That's his,
Well, yeah, focus on what you're doing now.
Speaking of Comicsgate, Deleted Scenes has an unboxing of ISOM 2. I've got my ISOM 2. I haven't opened it yet, but I've got it sitting on top of the short box that came from, the artwork from ISOM and so forth. The Rip-A-Verse. Definitely looking forward to that. You know what else is associated with the name Troy? Helen of Troy. So that's better. Yeah, Helen of Troy. She's the face that launched 1,000 ships. Hey, you ever seen what happened to those wine bottles? I can only imagine what her face looked like after 1,000 ships. Damn, man.
Did you like the Troy movie with Brad Pitt and Orlando Bloom and all them?
I never even saw it.
Okay,
never
mind then.
Was it any good? Would I like it?
I don't know. Yeah. Let's see though. What else has been going on? We got a new trailer for Thanksgiving. You sent that to me earlier.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. Fun fact: did you know Walt Disney hated making sequels? Good, because every sequel we've gotten out of Disney has fucking sucked.
Well, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies weren't bad. They had sequels.
Okay, fair enough. But the fact is, the Pirates of the Caribbean were something that lent itself to whatever stories you wanted to tell. It's based on a ride. It's not based on any specific,
right
property. You could do the same thing with Haunted Mansion. You could tell the story of the Haunted Mansion. You could make sequels, you could do whatever. But the stories that are fairy tales, they're one and done. You tell Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, whatever, it's one and done. If you start making sequels, you end up with, the Eisner era where you're making direct to DVD bullshit.
Like what was it, Cinderella 2 Still Happily Ever After? So, there's no more story when it's happily
Wasn't
ever
that
after,
the one that had a bunch of time travel bullshit in it too?
Did it?
Yeah, or maybe it was the third movie where the Wicked Queen or whatever tries going back in time to change the happily ever after or whatever.
Is it like the Back to the Future 2 with the evil stepmother?
Kinda.
I don't know.
But not nearly as well done,
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I really recommend and I'll tell you what, Tom he was on Netter's Network last week. As we get closer to the end of his Indiegogo campaign, he's going to be on this channel for Last Call. He's been on Zach's, he's been on Midnight's Edge, he's been on a bunch of different channels. And one of the things that he's been talking about, and he's been talking about this before he even got on this project, and I agree with him. Script Doctor said the same thing. Movies were a lot better when they had limitations, when they had budgets, right? Look at the first Terminator movie. There was a very strict budget there. And there are even some scenes that were filmed after filming had wrapped. They had to do some pickup scenes, and they were filmed on the street with no the scene where the Terminator punches through the window of a car. That was done on location in the street with no filming license or anything. What do they call it? Permit. There was no permit. It was commando filming, and it was just wasn't it Cameron and Schwarzenegger. Cameron held the camera, and Schwarzenegger punched out the window, and they got the shot. He's like, let's get out of here, because otherwise the police will show up and say, you trying to break into a car? Show me your permit that you're filming a movie here. Keep in mind, nobody knew who the heck Schwarzenegger was back then. No one knew who Cameron was back then.
Still an unknown, right?
Yeah. So that would have been really interesting. I am not stealing this car. I'm filming a movie. See, he's got a camera.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I think Stallone has had a better Twilight career than Arnold has. If you think about it, it's like,
I'll tell you what. I've got some real problems with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he's got a brilliant career. He was very smart about how he went about things and the roles he chose. And he always chose roles against type. He started out as a villain in Terminator. Then he wanted to be the hero. Then he wanted to do comedy.
Twins
was actually kind of funny. I really liked that movie. Him and Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito was like, oh, yeah, we're twins. It's like looking in a mirror. And I love that one. Or what's the one where he's as a pregnant man? And he
Junior,
and he goes into the big and tall shop to get some pants because his stomach's getting big.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think I should get a size larger so I have room to grow. And the fat guy selling him the clothes is like, that's the spirit.
Oh,
you can't make jokes like that these days, I guess.
Of course not. Let's be honest. What was the last good comedy you've seen, huh? Like recent ones.
Fuck, man. I've seen a lot of funny stuff on YouTube. I'll watch a
Actually,
game...
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I'll watch Gray Still Plays, doing Grand Theft Auto, slalom or made up board or whatever, and laugh my ass off as he's getting hit with crazy shit and stuff like that. As far as actual comedies, damn.
I did see a weird movie the other night that was pretty good, though. It's called Kids versus Aliens. Have you heard of that one? It's like an indie movie. It's like an indie horror type movie, but more of a comedy. And it's just really bizarre. You just kind of have to see it. Kids versus Aliens. It's
Surreality says Stallone writes his own material with varying results. Sometimes he does some really good stuff. Sometimes he does stuff where you're going, I know where he was going with that, but I'll be honest with you. I did a review of the last Rambo film.
Right. I remember.
I think I was a little more positive than I ought to have been. I wanted to like it more.
And here's what kills me with the last Rambo movie. Apparently, there are a couple missing scenes that are in the European version. Like, I think there's a scene with Rambo saving like a trucker or something that got, like, I guess, like they pull a vehicle out, and that's in the European version. They didn't put that in the American version. I wonder, is that maybe clarify? It's kind of a downer for a final Rambo movie.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about the ending of that movie is it's the same problem I'm having with a lot of Star Wars right now, and that's you kind of got to commit. If you're going to kill off Rambo, kill off Rambo.
Well, they didn't kill him off, though.
Pardon me?
They didn't kill him off, did they?
No, they didn't. That's the problem.
Okay.
The ending was weird. It's almost like the intent was to kill him off, but they wanted to leave it open for the possibility that he doesn't die. And I'm like, no, fucking decide. Either he survives or he doesn't, and end the film. You know?
So reality is right.
Get off the pot.
Yeah, Stallone does write his own material. This was originally supposed to be the 4th Rambo movie, but then they decided to do the one where he was going into Burma. Which is interesting because that one ends with him finally coming back home to the United States and I guess going to the Rambo family ranch.
Yeah.
And they didn't really explain what his relationship with these new people were. Like, was he, I think they call him uncle, or was it just like he was, I've read somewhere like they didn't establish the relationship. Was this a new family, like I guess like a Mexican American family that bought the farm, but then they liked him so that you could stay on and help us run the ranch, and then
or even the other way around.
Yeah,
maybe
or
he owned the ranch.
Maybe he owned it and they were working for him and he let them stay there. They never explained that, but they got along like they were family. Like, part of me was wondering.
It almost comes down
to is this young girl his niece, and he had a sister we didn't know about, and she married this no good
and
guy.
you get to the point where you know enough about their relationship for the story to work.
Yeah.
The details don't matter, but it is kind of sloppy storytelling if you don't get those details.
I needed to know what his relationship was with these people. Was he actually family, or was it more like a friend of this family? Like, I didn't understand that.
The interesting thing too is that this story,
obviously he treated that young girl like she was family. Obviously. Yeah.
And this story has a lot of elements that clearly work because Song of Freedom, right? Song of Freedom is very much the same kind of story. But I guess it's a little bit easier to tell a story when it's based on reality, you know.
Doing very well in South America.
We'll talk more about that on Sunday, but it was exactly what I predicted. I said when it's released in Central and South America, it's going to do well. And
has it been released in Europe yet? Because I wonder how it's going to do over there too.
I think it was released in the UK just this week. So I don't know that we have numbers.
Because I'm wondering how they'll react to it too, because that may be a whole nother market for that movie. But go ahead.
Yeah, I almost feel like the other side of the pond, they're gonna be like, whatever, this isn't our problem, you know, or whatever. I don't think they have the same connection to this story that North and South America would.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Let's wait.
I mean, the fact is, it's a problem there too. It's just, instead of people being taken from the U.S. to South America, it's being taken from other parts of Europe to Ukraine. Just saying.
Anyway,
but so they have their own issues with grooming and gangs. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. All right, guys, let's not end on such a downer. We've actually covered a lot of ground tonight. This was a hell of a discussion. This was a hell of a drunken rant you guys got me on.
Well, do you want to end on? We had started before the stream. You thought you might bring it up. If you were to do Star Trek in a next generation, what would you do? What would the power structures be like? Like, would the Klingons still be around?
Absolutely. And
you're not going to want my thoughts on what I do with the Klingons.
I think the bigger question is, what do you do with the Romulans? Because you don't want to go down the JJ route. You can't just
Romulus is still around. We're not doing.
You have to.
Romulus
if you're gonna separate, because we're talking now rights related issues. You got to completely get
Romulus
away
is
from.
Still around. It didn't blow up. We're not doing this nonsense, or the sun or whatever didn't blow up, or whatever was happening.
Exactly. They kind of didn't really get into the details on that. I would, if I was Paramount CBS, I would start looking at all the licensees and go, and when I say that, I mean Star Trek Online, other video games, the novels and stuff, and try to streamline it. Do the opposite of what Lucasfilm did. Lucasfilm took all of their EU and threw it in the fucking trash. I'm saying that Paramount should look at, and let's face it, not all of it works together, but look at all of it, get a team together to look at all the storylines and go, what works and what doesn't. Come up with one storyline that maps out the narrative going forward, and let's make it happen. In a lot of ways, the best things about Picard season 3 did exactly that. They drew a lot from Star Trek Online.
Right.
They drew a lot from some of the best EU novels in that era of Star Trek. That's what they should be doing.
You know what I would do with the Klingons?
What would you do with the Klingons?
There was a Klingon religious civil war over the followers of the new Kalis and the Kalis traditionalists that didn't like the clone. Remember the clone Kalis? And maybe the clone was getting loopy because there was something wrong with the cloning, and he was starting to say things that were that were not jiving.
Actually, here's what you can do.
Yes.
You have the secularists that don't believe, he's a clone, so it's bullshit. You have the fundamentalists that believe, yep, this is the fulfillment of prophecy. This is Kalis. Right. And you have a third sect that follows a sect that was introduced in Voyager, the Kuvama, the B'Elanna and Tom's daughter.
Oh.
And that's the interesting one, because she's like in that position where she's like a messianic character to a sect of Klingons. And she's like, no, I'm not. I don't believe in any of this shit. Leave me the fuck alone. Yeah. Star Trek Online dealt with that really well. She joined Starfleet, and she's like, she serves on the same ship as her father. Her father's an admiral now. Right. And she still has Klingons that consider the Kuvama and stuff. She's like, just leave me alone. I'm not nothing. I'm just Lieutenant Paris.
Paris.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about this, and I think I am. Paris wasn't one of the students that was dishonorably like part of Wesley's group, right? He was a different guy, right?
No, same actor, and they intended it to be the same character.
Okay.
And then they changed their mind, and they just kept the same actor.
That would have been kind of interesting. Yeah, that would have been
and I liked where they were going with it. It would have added some verisimilitude. They did do the same thing with the Bajoran actress, or the Bajoran character.
Yes.
She did come back in Next Gen, and
I saw that was kind of a sad wrap up, but
it's a sad story, but it's a brilliant storytelling. Speaking of storyman Jack Troy, they didn't throw the EU in the trash. They stole from it and shat all over it. They stole Thrawn and even Jason Solo's name and gave it to Syndulla. Yeah. So yeah, I'm still saying they threw it in the trash, and then they were like, hey, go pick through the garbage and find us some stuff that we need. And yeah, you're absolutely right. They did that with Thrawn. They decided to name Hera's son Jason, which shits in the face of any of the Heir to the Empire fans. Same thing with naming Han and Leia's son Ben. It's like, fuck you people. Fuck you people, although, and let me be very clear before I say anything. I don't believe this. I think it's bullshit. This is a huge what if, alternate universe bullshit. Okay. But if they were going to try to reboot Star Wars and use the world between worlds, like people have talked about for a decade, this would be the way to go. And it would be great to have a storyline where, Hera now doesn't have a son named Jason. And when they meet Han and Leia's twin children, and the boy is named Jason, played by the same actor. And then have Hera have to reconcile that issue, kind of like history's been changed, but it's still kind of the same, and there's still some things, and it's like she'd have to reconcile those ideas. If Hera is still the same Hera from this timeline and remembers, and that kind of thing. But absolutely, it's all bullshit. And this whole world between worlds, I don't buy it. Look, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Pay fucking attention to history and you will know what's going to happen. How many times have we had fan theories that we were all excited about and we sat with bated breath waiting for Lucasfilm to do it in Star Wars, and then it turns out to be bullshit? And we just saw it happen in Ahsoka again. You got this Inquisitor. You have no idea who he is. You never see his face. He never speaks, right? And people said, maybe he's Ezra. Maybe he's Starkiller. Maybe he's the Luke clone from Heir to the Empire. Nope. He gets his chest cut open. He's some green smoke. He's Dathomirian magic. That's all he was. Every time you hear a good fan theory on a YouTube video, I guarantee you it ain't going to happen.
It's just a theory, a fan theory.
Yeah, and they are always better than what we're actually getting from the powers that be at Lucasfilm. Sorry, guys. Filoni is not the savior, okay? He's not some Confederate working behind the scenes, trying to keep his job, trying to appease Kathleen Kennedy so that when she's gone, he can save Star Wars. Let me tell you something. Just shout it out, anyone who knows the answer. What is Ahsoka's code name in the rebellion? I know you guys know this. Any of you Rebel fans?
Chinchilla.
Well, Anakin called her Snips, but no, that's not what I'm referring to. I'll tell you just because it'll move this along. Her code name is Fulcrum. What is a fulcrum, Aged Boomer?
It's a thingamajig you put in a thing to make it work.
We need to be a little bit more specific. What
I don't know. It's like with gears and stuff, right?
Specifically with levers.
Yes.
It is the balance point of a lever.
Yeah, that's what I said.
She is the balance point.
Yes.
So she is, and Filoni had planned this years ago. She is the chosen one. Not Anakin Skywalker, not Luke Skywalker. It is Ahsoka that he plans to use to bring balance to the Force. That's why she's called Fulcrum. Fuck Filoni. Just saying it right out.
But you have Anakin coming back. You know what's funny?
Fan theory is that's not actually Anakin or his Force ghost. The fan theory that's going around is the next episode you're going to find out he is the dark side brother from the world between worlds.
Oh.
But again, I say bullshit until I actually see it because the fan theories are always better than what they actually do. I bet you the reality is it turns out to be all some fucking dream in her head. He's Bobby Ewing is who he is. That's my prediction. Yeah.
So I don't know. Is this all supposed to accumulate with the movie that Filoni's supposed to work on for?
That is the intent. He's building up to his movie that if he doesn't get the ratings from Ahsoka, that movie ain't never going to happen. Their whole stated reason for throwing out the EU was to have a clean slate to do their own stories, only for them to be non-committal about it. Like the professor says, they cherry pick. It's not even that. It is they say they want a clean slate, but they don't have the talent to come up with their own fucking ideas. All they can do is plagiarize other ideas. Look, it's what I always say, shit or get off the pot. If you are going to make Heir to the Empire, just make Heir to the Empire. Do what Zack Snyder did take the 300, take the Watchmen, and put it up on the big screen.
Well, instead we're getting what Zack Snyder did with the Dark Knight Returns with his Batman versus Superman.
Yes, that is a great example.
Yes.
Whereas the 300 and the Watchmen treated comic books as if they were storyboards, and every scene made it up on the screen. And if it didn't, it was because it didn't really work in film. So we had to do a little workaround. That's okay. Okay. But yes, you're absolutely right. When he didn't have one comic to deal with, when he wanted to get all these different unrelated stories together, he threw them into a fucking blender and hit what the fuck and poured it out. And that's what we got in the Snyderverse. That's the problem.
And
that's
didn't taste good.
No, it did not. And that is exactly what we've gotten from the Star Wars since Disney picked it up. People point to, oh, look, this is just like Dark Empire. Oh, this is like Heir to the Empire. Oh, look, this is like, the drawings that never got used by Lucas. Whoop-de fucking do. Other people did these stories and they did them better. Just take those books and make movies out of them.
Samuel Proctor is going to ask Matt Wilkins about Filoni when he was making the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'd love to hear more about that. But I have zero faith in Troy. I think that could be happening if excuse me. I think what could be happening is that if the fan comes up with an idea, Disney immediately makes sure not to be predictable. And therein lies the other problem. This is the integrity of storytelling. The reference I always go back to is the comparison between Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams with Lost and George R.R. Martin with A Song of Ice and Fire, right? Because when Lost was happening, the fans were digging into all the hidden lore and the Easter eggs, and they were coming up with their fan theories and all this kind of stuff, doing it on the internet in Reddit posts and all this kind of stuff. And they figured it out. These characters died in that plane crash and they're in purgatory. And the story's going to end with them like getting their shit together and going to heaven. And what does JJ come out and do? No, that's not what I'm doing. Only for the last fucking episode to turn out to be exactly that. No different than how JJ Abrams makes Into Darkness, right? And he's got this character and everyone's like, oh, so it's Khan. And he's like, no, it's not Khan. This is a whole different character named Ned Schimmelfinney or whatever the fuck his name is. Only to go to the movie and find out, oh yeah, it's Khan. He's a white guy with a British accent rather than, a Hispanic accent, who's supposed to be Middle Eastern, but it's Khan somehow.
I believe they originally wanted Benicio del Toro for that part.
That would have been awesome.
He bowed out.
That would have actually been awesome.
I think he bowed out because he probably read the script.
He was smart. He was smart. But the other side of that is someone like George R.R. Martin, who came up with a bunch he had a plan for where his story was going, and two big plot points the fans guessed about. One was Jon Snow coming back from the dead. And the second one was Hodor and the whole reason he's called Hodor.
Yes.
His backstory. And when fans figured it out, he's even in interviews talked about this. He said, I had to decide, do I stick to my guns or do I do something different? And he's like, no. If I foreshadowed it and they figured it out, well, good on them. They figured it out, and that's the story I was planning to tell, and I'm just going to tell that story, and they get the pat on the back for being right. There's nothing wrong with that. Tell your damn story. And if through foreshadowing people figure it out, good. That's what foreshadowing's fucking for. You know? I used to roll my eyes when the sequel fan theories when I was a fan of Disney Star Wars, specifically Rey's parentage. But now I realize that's just the natural result of JJ's emphasis on the mystery. Yeah, and that's the other problem with the mystery box, right? Mystery box actually has to have something in it. You need to know what it is. There's nothing wrong with a MacGuffin if it's a MacGuffin. But if it's important, then you better think through what's in that mystery box. By the way, people that are interested in Tom Conkle's Island in the Stars, he talks about figuratively speaking, mystery box that's important. It is neither a true mystery box nor a MacGuffin. You find out what is in that box early in the story, and it's important, and it's cool, and it makes sense. Actually, I don't know what it is. I'm taking Tom at his word that it's cool and makes sense, but he wouldn't say it if he didn't already have a plan for it. So,
all right.
Actually, I also trust Script Doctor because he's read the script and he has said the same thing. So there you go. But the earliest version of Rey was a character in George's original story idea who would have been Han and Leia's daughter, which would explain her power levels. She was trained. Yeah. So, and this is what a lot of people have said in the, if we were to fix, the sequel trilogy, what does George always say? It doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, right? And for fuck's sake, J.J. Abrams took that fucking serious and literally, because everyone pointed out that The Force Awakens was a retelling of the first Star Wars movie, right? And if you think of Kylo Ren, as the Jason Solo character, and you think of Rey as the Jaina type character, well, here's a great idea. Just like Luke and Leia were split up to protect one from the other, right? They do the same thing with Jason and I was going to say Jason and Jaina, with Ben and Rey, right? Ben, they know is, he grew up with them, but they sent the daughter away to grow up somewhere else just in case, right? So then if you want to bring her back as the savior who ends up saving her brother, that makes sense.
Yes.
Plan worked out, but this is where the whole subverting expectations comes in, right? If you're going to subvert expectations, you need the payoff to be better than what the expectation was. Okay. I'm trying to think of an example where, and I know there's been a bunch of them where the subversion of expectation worked really well. You're expecting one thing, it's something else, and you're like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing ever. A lot of stories have done that. I'm just having a hard time thinking of one off the top of my head. What you don't do is subvert expectations and go, yeah, this is just bullshit. Oh, lightsaber, fuck this. This isn't important. Oh, Rey, who's Rey? Who's Rey? Oh, she's nobody. Finn, he's got force ability. No, he's not. He's just a janitor. It gets real hard to give a flying fuck about any of these characters if they're all Joe nobodies who nobody cares about and they don't even care about their fucking selves.
Breathe. You said all in one breath.
I know, right? Exactly. Oh, exactly right. No, I don't want Star Wars Infinity. I want one storyline that's good. That's what I want.
What about the multiverse?
I'm getting sick of multiverses where, this didn't work. Well, let's just do another multiverse. That didn't work. Let's do another one. Well, this is shit. Let's do something else. No. Spend all your energy and time and money on one story and make it good.
Remember years ago when you predicted that it was all going to be about the multiverse and Marvel before they had announced anything, and you were right. You were saying,
guys, I'm telling you.
What are they going to do with the Thanos? It's going to be about the multiverse.
I have too damn many people in my life coming back and saying, you remember when you said that? No, I actually don't. Well, I do, and you were right. Okay. Yeah. I do this all the time because I look at history And when you know your history, you can make predictions. I don't need to go see a movie to know if I'm going to go like it or not. I've seen the last 12 movies that company has made in that franchise. I didn't like any of those fuckers. Now I've seen the promo. I have no need to see the next movie to know I'm not going to like it. It's really that simple. I think most writers are afraid of being predictable, so they see what the fans think and decide to go the opposite direction. That is I agree with you. You're right. That's what they think. It is bad, wrong thinking. It is stupid because since the beginning of film, the studios have done test marketing. And to this day, they will show an early print of a film to people to get their opinions. And then they will do refilms to fix things. There have been a lot of movies where you'll hear look at, we were talking about Rambo earlier. The movie First Blood had a different ending. Rambo dies. He died at the end of that movie.
He did.
And it was fucking brutal. And the test market said, this sucks. We don't want this. And they changed the ending. And then we ended up getting a whole bunch of sequels because of it. But you know what? They spend money to do test markets. I did a test market for the film however many days in Tibet with Brad Pitt.
Right. I remember that movie.
Yeah, I didn't see the movie. I saw the promo for it, and they asked my opinion of the promo. And I don't think they ended up going with that promo because they got bad opinions about it. Good. That's why you spend the money. You know, courts do that too. Attorneys do that. They do mock trials, and they find out what the jury's going to do, and that it's like practice. You know, that's good. That's smart. That's market research. That is a good thing. So some predictability is good. Okay. Some unpredictability is good too, as long as it surpasses expectations. If I'm expecting one thing and I get something different, but it's better than I expected, that's a blockbuster. You know?
Yeah.
Stopping in real quick, Troy. We're advertising you and Netter, and I'm about to speak on the crowdfund movie. Blessings to you both. Oh, Lawrence Knight, you are wonderful, and I am super, super looking forward to hanging out with you on Netter's network. Netter next week? Or is it the week after?
It's not next week. Next week is Maria with T and Telly.
Okay, so week
Lawrence Knight is 9/28.
Okay. Looking forward to hanging out with you, Lawrence Knight. Thank you so much. Trying desperately to get 6 more subscribers before October. I would super, super appreciate it. You are awesome, Lawrence. Thank you so much. Jedi Bill, you are awesome. Great karaoke stream, great rewatches, just great hangout on his channel. He is awesome, people. I'll tell you what, if it weren't for Jedi Bill, I would not have had Michael French on my channel. He is awesome. He helps make the connections in the YouTube sphere.
We grow together.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, Jedi Bill, I need to get you on my Thursday Think stream.
Yep, absolutely. The bestest ever, Ray. The dumbest line I bypassed the compressor, said I don't know. It's so many wasted opportunities. And the problem is that what's her name?
Daisy Ridley.
She's an attractive enough girl. She could have been a great character, you know. She would have made a great Jaina if they had done that story. They didn't. They fucked up. Fuck Disney. Just fuck Disney.
Everything they touch, man. I'm telling you.
Okay. I just realized we're starting to run over, and I did promise you we were going to try and get done on time because you gotta
get up in the morning.
I get it.
So what do we got going on this week?
So what do we got going tomorrow night over on Big Al Presents? We will be doing a rewatch, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Films with Friends with Big Al Presents. The Stephen King, what do you call that? You got a bunch of stories in one movie.
Cat's Eye.
It's called Cat's Eye. Yeah. What do they call that when you got, like creep show?
Anthology.
An anthology film. Yeah,
or
that's what that is.
Portmanteau or something like that. Or
Yeah. So that will be tomorrow night. I will be my Cosme Link will be carrying the film. Big Al Presents will be us, chatting about the film. It's always a lot of fun to do the rewatches. So let's see what else. That's Saturday. Sunday, deleted scenes. Unscripted at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Deleted scenes, drop your link and tell us not what your topic is. You kind of keep that as close to the vest, but what the title is so we can guess what your topic is. But that is the 1 hour lead in to Geeky Geezers over on this guy's channel. What are we watching? Or what are we talking about?
We watch anything. We're going to be talking about the big dust up about Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe that there's a
we were right. Everything we said about them turns out to be right.
Confirming what we already
thank you so much. She said, thank you again for singing Klingon Troy. I literally enjoyed it. Most appreciated. Also, how is the drink? Oh, it's gone. It's gone. I really, really did enjoy that. What I am going to do is I have not yet tried the bourbon. It's a blackberry bourbon. I want to try that straight just to see what it tastes like.
That sounded like a delightful drink you had tonight, though. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about how Sound of Freedom is doing in other parts.
You're not going to like it, but it is very, very good. This is wow.
Yeah, I like the fruitiness of it.
Yes. Very few infused liquors have this much of a fruit flavor to them. This is very, very good. So great choice. And it's a drink I never would have had you not suggested it, Connie. So this is why I do what I do. This is why I so appreciate you guys buying me a drink, because my broke ass can't afford my habit. But also you guys suggest drinks to me that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise.
If that was a wine, that would be Mogen David.
It's a little like a Mogen David. Yeah, exactly. But I do have a drink for next week and a song lined up. So that'll be next week. But please, if you are interested, I did not put the link at the top of the chat, but it is below. If you want to buy me a drink, the link is in the description. Suggest a drink you think I would like. If you'd like to hear me sing a particular song for you, I will make every effort. And let me know what that would be.
Who's buying you a drink next week?
Pardon me?
Who's buying you?
I don't know. I don't know.
John.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. John, thank you so much. But yeah, we'll talk about that next week. If you want to buy me a drink for the following week, the link is below. So that is Geeky Geezers, and then return back to and unscripted beforehand is Star-Crossed, 8 Eastern, 7 Central over on Deleted Scenes. Lead into Geeky Geezers, and then after Geeky Geezers, back to Deleted Scenes, where we will wind out our weekend with him on the other side of midnight. A great way to round out the weekend. I've been hearing some more chatter from the Birdman, Age of Boomer. What's going on with him this week?
I have to double check, but I believe we'll be doing a rewatch of Raiders of the Lost Ark on his channel. The
real
movie,
one.
The movie that's not Dial of Destiny. Yes, the
Good,
real
good.
one. Oh, you know what we should do actually? Wasn't there like a fan film that they redid Raiders of the Lost Ark just on their own? We should do that sometime.
Maybe. I've been seeing some great fan films where they use toys in place of actors, and it's pretty good. I saw someone did a fan film of the original Star Trek episode, The Arena, where Kirk fights the Gorn using Mego action figures. It's so good and so funny. Down to wherever it is they're filming, it looks just like those the what is it, the rocks in California,
whatever those rocks are.
Yeah. It looks just like that, the flagstone and everything. The bits where he's collecting the minerals and the bamboo, the detail is there. It really looks like, scale size of those scenes from the show. It was really good. But there is one great shot where, he and the Gorn, and to have a prop for that thing they talk into, it's Next Generation, a Playmates Next Generation phaser with the beam cut off of it.
Well,
and that's what they're talking
That's
into.
cool.
When the Gorn is talking, stay still and I will make it painless or whatever. Way in the background, you can see some people. They're at a beach or something, and you see some rando guys walking in the background. It's so funny. It's so funny. Yes, Evelyn, it is fanfic on YouTube. In fact, if you go to the Kartan the Klingon Cleric page on MeWe, I believe I posted it there, so you can link right to it and check it out. It's funny. It is good stuff. I also posted there the Doomcock piece that I was talking about earlier in the stream. But yeah, Vasquez rocks. Thank you very much, Deleted Scenes. I knew someone would know it. But yeah, there we go. So I'm sorry, you were saying about soundtracks with Birdman. Oh yeah, Indiana Jones on Wednesday.
Now Thursday, what's going on? Netter's
Thursday. Netter was
Thursday things.
Yes, Thursday. Netter was just saying,
I'm gonna have Maria with D&D.
Yeah, because Maria likes Netter. I guess she doesn't like me. It doesn't come on my channel because Well, I don't blame her. I mean, given a choice between the two of us, I'd choose Netter over me too.
Did you ask her and then do little hearts after your
Yeah, she's not available on Friday nights. That's the problem. But
see, I do little hearts after my request.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go. So that's Thursday over on Netter's Network. Make sure you subscribe to her. She's getting close to a milestone there too. And if she gets there, she's gonna have a little trivia contest.
I only need 5 more subscribers.
Yeah, she only needs 5 more. I need 5 more too to get to a milestone, and I will have a rewatch of the 1976 film. It was 76, right? The Omen for Halloween. I'd like to do that. I think you guys would enjoy it. Help me get the subscribers that I need, But
it freaks me out, man.
It should, and I will talk to you more about that too. There's plenty of reasons to be freaked out about it. And I think what I'll probably try to do. I'll probably try to pull Big Al in on it. I think if he's available, I think that would be an appropriate guest to have for a rewatch. For sure.
Cool.
But let's see. So that's Thursday. That brings us to next Friday. I have some ideas what I want to do next week, but we'll see.
Thoughts on Aquaman and the Cursed Kingdom. A Lost Kingdom, sorry. Keep saying cursed.
We could. Well, I'm
joking.
It probably is cursed. And look, there's another example of them looking at the source material and bastardizing it, because I have seen some promotional material of him in the blue aquatic camouflage outfit from a really good miniseries for Aquaman, but they're not going to reproduce that story. It's just, again, they're just throwing a bunch of shit into the Cuisinart and hitting what the fuck,
Do you know what should happen? It should be the Ben Affleck Batman. I heard has a guest stint in that movie, and halfway through the movie, he should kind of morph into the George Clooney Batman because of the whole Flashpoint thing.
That would actually be brilliant, right?
No, but I want him to morph and it'd be like,
and then he just changes And it's like, because at that exact moment, the shit in Flash was happening that changed history,
then he
right?
could show the American Express card. I never leave the cave without it. Do all the really bad jokes from Batman.
Let me tell you
and
something
Robin, just throw them
Ben
into
Affleck.
Aquaman and Lost Kingdom.
I saw some commentaries
Stupid.
about Ben Affleck as Batman, specifically on what's that Puerto Rican girls that you
what's her name?
Snarky J.
Snarky J. Yes.
She's a little cutie. She is awesome.
Yes.
She pointed out some things about Ben Affleck as Batman that I hadn't considered before. Just like Henry Cavill as Superman, he really is a good Batman. He's not playing Batman. He was written badly. There's a bunch of stupid shit in there, but he played Bruce Wayne really well. He played Batman really well. You know,
Yeah.
if he and Cavill had a good story to work with, they could have done really well. Again, I do feel like Ben Affleck was too old, next to Cavill being too young by comparison. She does not like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She does not. And that's one where I'm like, I think she's pretty good. She's another one that didn't have the material to work with, but and Snarky J's way too self-deprecating, because she does say, well,
Right.
I don't like her acting, and then she cuts to Kal-El, no, it's like, but at the same time, she's like, but she's way more pretty than I am, and I'm like, is she? I'm not.
Well,
certain.
here's the thing: they're different. It's like an apple
Mm-hmm.
to an orange. It's just, but the
It's
thing about
true.
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't initially have a problem with Gal Gadot. I think the whole Snyderverse thing. It's time to pitch it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Nobody likes it. Just pitch it.
Yeah, and the thing too is, she's made jokes that aren't jokes, in my opinion, because she said, hey guys, Warner Brothers, I got the costume, I'm ready, just call me up and I'll play Wonder Woman. And I'm sitting there going, she'd make a good, if they're rebooting Wonder Woman, she actually would be a fine Wonder Woman, because she's the right age for Wonder Woman when she starts,
right? You want someone in
she
their
would
20s.
be perfect, and she's got the charisma that, I don't know what her acting, background is, but she's got enough camera presence that they could easily teach her to act, to play the role. She would do just fine. And it's got to be someone like her, someone that in the Hollywood sphere is an unknown. Because again, who knew who Henry Cavill was when he was cast as Superman? Who knew who Christopher Reeve was when he was cast as Superman? Right.
Well, you know who I would like as Wonder Woman? I told you, the actress who plays Mary Marvel in those Shazam movies. I think she'd be the one I would put in there. But
I don't know what this is in relationship to, but Boomer, stop it. Get some help.
I don't know.
The Michael Jordan line. And Sorality, chunky Batman only because he was the Dark Knight Returns Batman. Yeah, and that's the problem. He was the right age to play the old Batman Returns. That is not the Batman you should be playing when the Justice League is first forming and he first meets Superman. That is one of the big problems. But if they were doing a Dark Knight Returns movie, tell me Ben Affleck in that costume wouldn't have been perfect, But that's a story you do after 15 years of Batman and Superman films that culminates in that,
Yeah.
But anyway, so and that brings us around to Saturday with Big Al Presents. So the following Saturday is Netter. So tomorrow is Big Al with Cat's Eye, And then a week from tomorrow on Netter's Network, Sylvester Stallone, Cobra.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is a good one. And I haven't seen it since the 80s.
And it's a Christmas movie,
Is it really?
I'm just kidding. Yes, it takes place at Christmas. So it's not a Christmas movie, though. Just watch it. It's okay.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
If
Well,
it
no.
takes place at Christmas, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I'm with her on that.
Barely. Okay. Actually, the interesting thing about Cobra is there are a lot of little nods in there to Dirty Harry, because the guy playing his partner in that movie is the same actor that played Dirty Harry's partner in the original Dirty Harry movie. And the guy that played Scorpio is like the superintendent guy in it, the actor, the one who played Garrick, he's in it. So there are a couple little nods to Dirty Harry in there, which is kind of interesting. But yeah.
Jesse, do you really not know the Sylvester Stallone movie Cobra? I mean, that's fine. If you don't, you can watch along with us a week from tomorrow.
It has a very metal ending.
Yeah, it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it before, wait. Watch it with us. It'll be a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. Trust me. Yeah,
Cobretti, right? Cobretti?
Marion Cobretti, right. Yep. That's a good movie. Although, in my head, I keep confusing that movie with Tango and Cash.
That's a good one, too, but it's a different kind of movie.
Isn't it Tango and Cash? Yeah, that's the one where he's like, who does he think he is? Rambo? And he hears him say it, and he goes, Rambo's a pussy.
That was funny. Well, it's funny because he's going against his Cobra type. In what was it, Tango Cash? He's very clean cut. Did you notice that? Whereas the Kurt Russell cop is the sloppy cop.
Right.
Yeah, and they're the opposite, which I thought was interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. Should we trust Troy? Fuck no. You should not trust Troy. In fact, I would always say, always verify. Always verify. You can trust if you want to.
Trust but verify.
Yep, verify. And so that's why I say, come join us a week from tomorrow over on Nerds Network. Watch Cobra with us. And then you tell me if you liked it. And it's fine for you to not like a movie I like. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But damn it, I've kept you more than a half hour past when you expected to be on. I apologize, Boomer. I hope you're not cursing my name tomorrow when you're at work.
Your name when
I can't wake up. There's not enough caffeine in the world. Fuck you, Troy.
And then you don't feel bad about it because Troy will routinely keep me up until about 2:30 in the morning when I have to be up at 7.
You're a monster.
It is true. Well, okay, but ask Netter, how do I keep her up like that?
Well, we keep going down these wormholes.
Yeah, we'll start watching videos like right now in another tab. I have saved from yesterday, but minimized the Candela Obscura. It's
a D&D game.
It's the Matt Mercer, role playing game series. We started watching that last night. It's a work night. And we were still up at 2 a.m. And I looked 2:30, and I'm like, we're not going to even be able to see the end of this episode. We've got to stop.
Or we'll watch Grace Still Plays. They Call Me Kevin, or cooking shows. He'll just put in these random things. And it's like,
B. Dylan Hollis.
Yes.
Spam tofu from 1925 or some shit like that. I don't know. Eggies. Proof powder.
But I can tell you the pink fluffy cookies are amazing. It's just cake mix and Cool Whip, and then you bake it, and they're cookies.
I agree with Dylan House when he's talking about it. It's a Cool Whip. It's a travesty. This isn't real food, but it's yummy. It is yummy. It is not real food, but it is yummy. Absolutely.
Throw some Skittles in there too.
Throw some Skittles in it and call it steampunk. Okay. Everybody, make sure you just, you know what? Go whatever money you would spend on a super chat or something like that. Go support Island in the Stars.
Or one of those overpriced cups of coffee from Starbucks.
Well, yeah, she's got a point there too. But suddenly gets possessed by Danny DeVito for a second. What the crap just happened? Look!
No. His favorite line. What in hell's bathroom?
What in hell's bathroom is that? Yeah, that's
Funny.
what is it?
Everybody
Boyle.
loves Raymond.
Yeah.
Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle. Yeah. What in hell's
Classic.
bathroom is that? Oh no, yeah. Well, Danny DeVito, come on, man. I'm an old, overweight, Italian guy. I got the simpatico going on with Danny DeVito. I ask Netter. I know the French flipper trick, so there's that. So anyway, Boomer, you got any last thoughts for us before we close this out and I let you get
Nothing.
to bed?
Just tune in through the week, and hopefully no more hurricanes this year. But maybe we'll be able to do a catch-up stream someday if there is.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And I'm gonna needle Katie about not showing up for ditching me. This happens. This is why I got married, right? Because I was so used to women, making dates with me and just ditching me. I figured I'm gonna get married, so I've got the built-in companion. Of course, if she ditched me, I kind of understand it. But after 30 years, I think she's kind of stuck in the groove. But anyway, so great. And tune into all the shit that we just talked about. Netter, I'm sorry you sat down and I kept you waiting. You want to take us out?
Yes. But I also want to remind everyone that I did drop a vid a couple of days ago. It's got 3 segments. First one's hair and makeup. Second one is an easy way to open up your mail. And the third one, which people have asked about, is the easy way to put on a pillowcase. So if you want to just get to that, just kind of skip to near the end. It's about a minute.
I will show you how to put in the
Yeah, Trish's going to show me how to make that a short. But it's like people have asked about that. So, go and watch the vid. Yep. I could use the watch time.
Definitely.
Give me a thumbs up, something to, the algorithms know that you exist. And that said, I also want to remind people that make sure you are subscribed to everybody in the chat. And of course, Troy, me, and Boomer. And then go back and make sure you're still sub to people that you think you're sub to, because I've lost like 4 subs in like the last 2 weeks because YouTube.
She's spot on there. Yeah.
And it's like, so I would have had that 275. It was not for YouTube.
Yeah. But
that said, you know what I always say?
I do.
We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well, good, and fun. But it is so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping your comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And you're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys and we appreciate you so very much. You can choose to be anywhere right now, and you are here with us. I mean, that means so much. You can't even imagine how much that means to us, that you are spending this time with us. Thank you again for being here. So we love you guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you next time.
I couldn't agree more. You guys could be anywhere right now, but you're just crazy enough to hang out with us. That means you are our kind of crazy, and I super appreciate that. Connie, one more time, thank you for the suggestion on this bourbon. It was brilliant, and guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Just like everything Netter said, you guys are the best. I'm sorry that Katie wasn't here. She's definitely better looking than I am, but that's why Netter's here, I guess. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. I hope to catch you on the next one. And till next time, grazie, salute. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.